This is what you want. This is what you get. This is what you get.
You have located GeekFest Rants, the entertainment podcast for genre geeks like you.
Shall we play a game?
Covering the world of vintage and current film and television since 2010.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Featuring in-depth conversations on sci-fi, horror, fantasy, comics, toys, and conventions.
So say we all.
And now sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show.
It's an instinct. A feeling. The Force brought us together. We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
People keep telling me they know me. No one does.
But I do.
Long have I waited. And now you're coming together. Is your undoing.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny. The Force will be with you.
Always.
Hi everybody, and welcome once again to GeekFest Rants. My name is Carlos Perron, and today I have Steve Folks joining me, and we are going to talk about the final trailers for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian. Two new trailers we wanted to go over. Like I said, they are the final ones, and this is what's going to keep us going until the premiere of these two Star Wars properties. The Mandalorian obviously coming up first in practically days, and Rise of Skywalker in about a month. I can't believe it's only practically a month away. So let's get started.
What did I teach you?
You are the Duke of New York. You're a number one.
You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you.
Can you dig it?
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
That spawn of Satan.
Oh, really?
The Force will be with you, always.
Let's talk a little bit about the final trailer for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, the main event here.
All right, we start off the trailer with Rey running through what appears to be a forest or a jungle, and she seems to drop a helmet. And if you pause it, it kind of looks to me a lot like a Rebel Endor soldier helmet. It has that wraparound thing around the back type of
they're those
design.
Ranger helmets they had, yeah.
And she seems to be training with some kind of a remote device and her lightsaber, and she has a red band around her hand, which I'm not sure exactly what that signifies. If it's part of the whatever training she's doing, or... And you do hear a little bit of the narrative or the narration, which I think might be Luke talking in the background. Is that what you think it is?
I thought the first narration, I thought it was Finn actually talking.
Oh, you know what? You might be right. That's the thing about this narration, is that it seems to change every now and then to different characters.
Yeah.
And as she's training, it's a little confusing because it cuts to a shot of her back in Jakku, and then it cuts to a shot of her somewhere else. So it's like she's remembering all her training of her life into this little montage.
Yeah, and also, I'm not sure if you noticed, but in the very beginning of the trailer, you hear like those like foresty sounds.
Yeah,
and it sounds like it sounds straight up like indoor, like it sounds like indoor. You know, because later on we also get some more hints of why that could be.
Well, let's just put this out there from the beginning. A lot of this, and not just because of this trailer, because of what we've seen before in the other trailers, it seems to have to do with the second Death Star being crashed in pieces in the ocean, in some kind of water environment. And you kind of figured when the Death Star blew up, all those pieces came raining down on Endor. So there are shots here and in the previous trailers of her in the water with some structures, and this could conceivably be Endor because that's where the Death Star's pieces should be at.
Yeah.
So let's go forward here. Yeah, you're right. You have a shot of Finn saying the Force brought us together, and he's looking through some binocular type of device, and she's still running around training. And then you have a shot of like a rebel meeting, like a pre-battle setting, and if you look carefully, you could see Lando.
Yeah, he sticks out like a sore thumb.
It's the suit he's wearing. It's the classic Solo Lando colors now. These are new colors he's wearing, his young man colors. And some people pointed out that behind Lando, there's a Mon Cal individual, and I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but I think he's supposed to be like Admiral Akbar's son or something.
Yeah. It's a very Star Wars-y looking shot.
And you got somebody else, so it could be Poe saying we're not alone, and blah, again, more of this inspirational kind of speak. You got a shot of Rose for the first time, which we hadn't seen that yet, in the previous trailers, and people were starting to wonder, hey, is she even in this movie? What's going on? And if you look very carefully, behind Rose, there's two characters, and one actor, I think it's Moynihan, the guy from Lost, who was very excited about... Yeah, you could see a little beard and a little mustache on him. That's him. So he looks like he might be a rebel soldier or something, some kind of commando or something. Then you got, you got Poe, Finn, Chewbacca next to a orange kind of X-Wing. Then you got a... what looks like to be a rebel blockade runner type of ship, kind of, I don't want to say crash landing, but getting very close to those treetops in this foresty environment.
Now, do you think that's the actual Tantive V4 where Leia was taken?
Well, it could if the Empire didn't destroy it. I thought they would have destroyed it because that was the whole plan. Kill the crew, pretend they died on something. But we've seen that... that's just like a brand of vehicle. It could be a million
definitely.
of them.
It just seems odd. Like they would put, they're supposed to be wrapping up this whole saga. Like, why do that? Like why put that iconic ship if they're just gonna say like, oh no, that's just a different one.
They did that if you remember in the prequels. That last shot of, I forget what it was, that they were saying it's the Tantive 4, or is it a different different Corvette or something like that? Yeah, okay, whatever. So now we jump to a shot of, again, in the ocean, this massive structure kind of rising or peeking through this big stormy kind of weather. And you could see Rey with a lightsaber way, way, way in the distance out there. She says, people keep telling me they know me, but no one does. Again, everybody's taking their turn during the narration on this trailer. And it looks like she's looking in one direction as if she's expecting somebody from the opposite direction. She's got this mean face on. And then you get from the crashing waves, you see it's Kylo Ren.
Yeah, he walks out the water, his hair all
that
wet.
lightsaber is, he's angry. He's the angry young man. And
this guy has never smiled in his life. Like, he's the most intense guy.
I know, right? Then you got this really, really cool shot of TIE fighters flying towards this. It's like a floating ice
It's like it's literally like an iceberg in space.
Yeah, it's like a gigantic iceberg. Exactly. I guess it's turned into some kind of city at some point, or some kind of base or something. And then you get a shot of what looks like to be a throne. Now, what's interesting about this picture is that I've just found on the internet, somebody posted an early McQuarrie concept of the Emperor's throne that looks just like this. It had those spiky little fingers all around it.
Yeah, yep.
Which is like, oh boy, they're going back. They're going really way back.
Oh, I love this shot.
You get the voice of the Emperor saying, "Long have I waited, and now you're coming together." Is he talking about Rey and Kylo, kind of joining forces, or they just happen to be in the same time, in the same place as the Emperor is emerging? And the shots that you get there are really, really interesting, because not only do you get that throne shot, but all of a sudden you get this, what looks like to be an old classic traditional Star Destroyer rising out of frozen water or something, crashing through as if they're reviving like a fleet of classic ships.
Yeah, and it looks like maybe the fleet was which would make absolutely no sense, but the fleet was frozen, and he's up to this point we've only seen those newer the First Order Star Destroyers, and everything has a different non-Imperial look. And so now we're seeing all the TIE fighters come in, the Star Destroyer, the Victory class Star Destroyer rise from the
right, because we don't really know for sure at this point if the First Order is the Emperor tied to the First Order, or is the Emperor doing something without the First Order's knowledge. Yeah. You know what I mean? He could be having his own fleet hidden somewhere else and waiting for the First Order to weaken in power so that he can then jump in and take over again, using the First Order's equipment kind of thing. Now that Snoke is dead, maybe that's the plan. Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, your next shot is your money shot. This is the shot that should have ended this trailer. This shot should have been at the end of the whole trailer, I think. And this is the shot of the Falcon towards us, and then the entire, I guess, Rebel fleet behind them, which is full of super Easter eggs. People have pointed that the Ghost is right there over to the right.
From Star Wars Rebels. Yeah.
You have a Hammerhead over here. You have a bomber over there. You have all these different ships. And I bet you, once this movie's said and done, there's going to be about 20 ships that are most likely cameos. Some people said they saw an Outrider even flying around in here. It's going to be a Where's Waldo of Star Wars in this thing.
Yeah,
it's just going to be insane.
Yeah, it's going to be a who. So usually Star Wars, they print out the visual dictionary of the movie. This one is going to be a surefire. But I'm picking this up day one because it's going to have even just this one shot could probably fill out that entire dictionary. So I'm really excited to see this.
And as you can see here, a lot of people have also pointed out, the Falcon has a new round dish. This is probably the 80th dish on this poor Falcon. They should just buy 17 of them and just leave them in the back somewhere, because you know what? I'm surprised they didn't put a triangular dish this time, just to mess with people. It's like, you want a circle, you want a square, you want a rectangle? I don't care. We'll throw something else. And then you get most of the cast in the cockpit, Chewie the co-pilot and Rey the pilot and everybody else behind.
Still feels like a missed opportunity to get Carrie Fisher and Han in there together. But
hey, that's what happens.
Yeah, life happens.
Yeah. And then you got Rey and Kylo once again fighting on top of what... It's either the Death Star remains or a Star Destroyer that has risen. I'm not sure exactly which.
When I first saw it, I assumed Death Star, but now you mention it, could be Star Destroyer.
Then you get a shot of something exploding that I can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
It looks like a Star Destroyer possibly blowing up something in front of them, but I can't tell if it's a good guy, a bad guy, or what. I just can't tell. Then you have another new ship, which I believe Rey might be driving it, and it's almost kind of like a water skimmer. It's an open top, kind of like a catamaran type of weird little ship.
Yeah, it's something very janky looking, very.
Yeah. And there's and that shot leads to a shot of what looks like to be the Death Star, a big chunk of probably the radar dish section because it's got a curve to it. Then we get a weird little creature, putting wires behind C-3PO's head, and the back of his head is exposed.
If your other scene was the money shot, this is the emotional money shot scene.
Yeah. Now, before we get into the shot, there's a shot of Poe and a couple of other people around them, including the Kerry Russell character, which is supposed to be a bounty hunter. I don't know if you see her all the way on the left.
Yeah.
She's wearing that gold helmet. It looks like she's got like a Def Punk helmet on or something. Yeah. And he says, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And you see the back of his head is exposed. And he says, "Taking one last look at my friends." And yeah, okay. Is this a trap? Is this JJ baiting us to look the other way because he's got something else planned, so he wants us to focus on C-3PO? I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, because it seems like this would be such a big thing. I mean, maybe not a big thing, but this is a pretty weighty thing to throw in a trailer. I mean, we're talking about like a death of a pretty well-known character in Star Wars. So,
well, not only that, but if you think that Disney is being very careful as far as fan reaction to mess with C-3PO or R2-D2, knowing that in Lucas's own words, they are really the storytellers. They're the ones that are kind of holding all these stories together. Yeah. They're the glue. Would you risk killing off one of those two characters?
Yeah, I mean, R2-D2 has been pretty much MIA for this whole series. So, I mean, it's not like they're treating these guys with, like, no reverence here or anything. So, I could really see them killing 3PO off. But it just seems like such like a weird play to put it into the trailer. Like it seems too obvious. I'll say that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's J.J. Abrams. Remember, he did Lost, so he's all about misdirection and look over here and boom, hit you for something different. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to get hit with something, but it's going to be unexpected. Yeah. Unless there's a leak. Unless there's a spoiler somewhere. And then you get, this Christmas, and then there's the montage, and you see Poe, Chewbacca, and Finn running towards you. Yeah. And stormtroopers are just falling by the wayside.
They're like mowing down stormtroopers.
Something tells me this might be a callback to the Han screaming down the Death Star as they're running away from him. I have a feeling they're going to try to do a gag like that, especially since Chewbacca's done it already.
Oh, I love the scene of Lando and Chewie and the Falcon.
Well, then you have Leia and Rey. Again, this is part of those shots that were used, I guess, reused from before and fixed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you have BB-8 in that skiff thing that we saw in the previous trailer in that desert, and he seems to like punch a hole in something, generating these yellow explosions of like dust or something, or some kind of canisters, which I guess is what they're using to get the stormtroopers off their trail. Those jet troopers, I think.
Yeah, because in the other trailer we saw them. We saw the jet troopers sort of like fly through them.
And then they're all cheering, and then you got your Lando and Chewie shot, and then you have a traditional Y-wing. Again, blast from the past, heading towards what could be a Star Destroyer. Maybe it's like it looks a lot bigger than a Star Destroyer, and it's got this huge gun.
Yeah, this big cannon thing.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. But if you look to the bottom right, you have a traditional Star Destroyer bridge, because it had those two balls, those deflector shield balls. Now, in this shot, you're also supposed to be able to see the new TIE fighter that's new to this movie. I forget what's the name of it, but it's one of these new TIE fighters with different looking wing on it.
I think it says like the dagger, I think, or something like that. Where it's like one single like wing.
And I can't really freeze frame it enough to see what is the design, what is the dagger shape. I don't know.
I think it's literally a dagger. I think it's literally
really? It's got that little triangular.
I think it's like one triangular wing.
Then you got a shot of, I guess, the heroes and there's a couple of new characters in there that they haven't profiled too much, riding these horse creatures. But it's weird because it almost looks like they're riding like on top of the surface of maybe a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, I think they are, yeah. I think they're riding on top of a Star Destroyer. Yeah. Then it's a bizarre concept.
Well, I guess this, who knows? I mean, hey, I'll take it. I don't care. Then you got a shot of, again, Rey and Kylo about to face off again, and it looks like they're in the real throne room because the seat looks like the seat from Return of the Jedi, the window, what's left of it looks like that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, and a lot of people have mentioned this, is that in the art of the Force Awakens book, I believe, there were certain shots of the Death Star underwater and Rey going underwater.
Yep.
And this particular framed shot, there was something like this where you saw the chunks of the window and that office, that throne room. So it looks like they're taking from everything. They're grabbing anything that moves and throwing it in this movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, in fact, when that came up, I had to go, as I had the book, so I went back and flipped through and checked it, and yeah, it's a scene where it's like underwater and dark. Yeah. You see like a little figure, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, that technically was, for the Force Awakens. So I mean, it's not like he's like taking something that was probably one of his, maybe one of the concepts that came up from him. So yeah, he's pulling from his own stuff.
Sure. Then you get a shot of what looks like Finn running up near the area where she was running initially to fight Kylo Ren, with all the water and the wreckage around them. But there's another character behind him, way in the background, with long hair, and she might be one of those other characters that's riding on the horses, because I see somebody standing way in the background behind him as he's yelling. It's very quick, you can barely see it. Don't worry about it. Now here comes one of the most weird shots that people are speculating a million things about. It's Rey and Kylo both swinging their lightsabers at what looks like to be possibly a statue. Some people are saying it's a statue of Vader, possibly. We don't know. But the surroundings are really weird because it's a very white, sterile-looking environment. It looks a lot like Cloud City in a way. And if you look out over one side over there, it looks like... And I think I'm wrong. I thought they were buildings, but it's not buildings because it's interior. It's like
it's inside. It's a very odd shot. It looks like it's like framed in it could look like a window,
but it's not.
It's definitely inside. And it's a very classic looking Star Wars set. Like it looks very like
it's too clean. I don't know if it's. I mean, if it's First Order, it should be a lot of black and gray.
Yeah.
Those colors don't seem to fit unless it's some kind of dream or hallucination or some kind of Force experience that she's having with Kylo Ren or something. And the other thing people pointed out is that her right hand has a lightsaber, her left hand has a dagger.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Which could tie back. It's most likely not, but in the Clone Wars, there was a storyline with the Mortis arc, and there was a dagger that was featured prominently in that story.
There you go.
And it just sort of plays into the whole like very cultish, resurrection, ritualistic type feel. Like I'm hoping they go down that path. The Emperor is coming back. I hope that's kind of like the path they take.
Mm-hmm. So then you got another shot of our heroes, and then this massive shot of, again, the horses riding on top of what could be a Star Destroyer. But now you see in the background a whole fleet of Star Destroyers flying. So, yeah, I guess somehow they've landed the horses on a flying Star Destroyer. I mean, I don't know how the hell they're going to work this out, but... And then you do see, actually, I now can see those TIE fighters, and the wings are triangles. I can see the little triangles. Okay, I got it now. There we go. That makes sense. Well, about that. Ooh, that's a B-wing. I just saw a B-wing. Oh, my God. Yep. Wow, that's cool. And there's Kylo, Angry Kylo.
Okay. Here's an interesting shot.
Yeah, here's an interesting shot. It's Rey being looked down on from a perch. And it looks like the Emperor. It looks like he's sitting on some kind of chair with a whole bunch of devices attached to it. You don't see his face, but you do see slightly his profile. And I'm told that if you freeze frame it just right, you see his fingers poking through the middle of his chest as if he's raising his hand right before it cuts to black. And then your final shot is a shot of Rey holding the blue lightsaber, not the red one we saw on the other trailer. And you hear Luke saying the Force will be with you, and then always said by Leia. That's how they kind of wrap it all up.
And she has like this like hopeful, like not smile, but like this hopeful look on her face. Like she's just seeing something like very satisfying. I'll say that.
What's cool is that in her right eye, you could see the reflection of the lightsaber. So you could see that blue thing on her eye. It almost looks like she's wearing contacts, like some weird contacts. But no, it's the light reflecting. And there you have your last shot and the title.
A very, very interesting trailer. I mean,
and that's all we get.
and I'll say this: like, I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogies. Like, I have my really big problems with a lot of the story decisions they went down, but their trailers have always been like, like each one has gotten me excited for the for the movie, no matter what. And now whether I come out of the theater feeling that same amount of excitement,
that's a whole other story.
Yeah. But their trailers are always out, phenomenal, and this one is no exception. This one looks like it's just going to, it sets everything up to be like, okay, this is going to be this epic story. Toa has all these things jam packed into it, so I'm excited. I really can't wait for this.
I'll tell you the truth. I mean, I've said this a million times. I did not like The Last Jedi, but there's nothing that will keep me away from seeing this movie when it opens opening night. I might end up seeing it multiple times. As a matter of fact, and again, I said this too many times already, because I did not like The Last Jedi, I have probably seen The Last Jedi more times than any of the other, not only Force Awakens, but probably the prequels. I won't say the originals, because the originals, I lost track of how many times I've seen them. But because I kept giving The Last Jedi another try and another try and another try, by default, it has become probably one of the ones I've seen the most. And like you said, the trailers, they've always blown me away. And I'm going to say this trailer really did not blow me away. I'm like, I like what I see, but I really didn't get a holy crap moment in this trailer, because it's almost like everything we saw is kind of what we're expecting. Nothing really like blew my socks off. I mean, I do love some of the staging of some of these battles, the horseback stuff and all those ships lining up and the Star Destroyer coming out of the ice. But I don't know why it just doesn't. I think I like the other two trailers, even The Last Jedi. I think I like those two other trailers a little more. Now, maybe I'm doing that in a way subconsciously because I'm lowering my expectations so much. Don't think it's going to be as good as the trailer. Maybe that's what I'm doing to myself. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, when I saw the Force Awakens trailer, and when you see Han and Chewie, I'm home, that's an emotional, bomb that goes off inside of you. It's like, oh my God, they're back. And it was just so emotional, And then the second trailer, because I was expecting so much, I got not as much of a reaction that way, but the fact that you saw so much of Luke, and it's like, okay, here's Luke. Now they're giving me the basic ingredients. You get a lot of Leia, and now you got a lot of Luke. Here, there's really nothing, if you think about it, from the good guy's side that you're finally given, that you're finally handed. Because we've already been handed Han, and he's gone. We've been handed Luke, and he's gone. We've been handed Leia twice, but she's gone for real, which is even more bizarre. So the person that we're being handed here, and they don't want to show him to you, of course, is Palpatine. That's the original big character that's showing up here. But because they have to purposely hide him, it doesn't really hit you. At least for me, it doesn't punch me in the gut. If you would have thrown a full face shot of the Emperor, maybe that would have floored me. We get the voice, we get the little tiny profile hood, that kind of thing. But again, that's just my personal reaction to this.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I feel like the other two trailers have been setting it up. Everything has been this big bombshell. I sort of like how they sort of dialed it back a bit to go go back to basics with this one, where it goes back to more of I don't know, it doesn't have to be this big over the top, and especially because the reactions to the other two movies have been, they set you up for this big over the top grand story, and then we get disappointed. So I like how this one is dialing it back, keeping it a bit more simple and a bit more reserved. and it doesn't have to be like, this sort of big, showcase of characters that we know or as big villains. So at least with the Emperor, we all know we all know who that is, but it would have been a bit too much if they would have just thrown it all out there, because then you go into it, you're like, okay, yeah, I know who it's going to be, I know what he's going to look like. So I like it. It's a bit more dialed back, especially the fact that it's the last trailer of the saga. Yes. So
I'll tell you exactly why I feel this way is that I had a bigger reaction, a bigger emotional reaction when they played, I think it was the previous trailer or the first one, where we heard Palpatine's voice for the first time. He was laughing, ha 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 ha, that laugh. That was like, holy crap kind of moment. And that was back when nobody knew that, they kept him under wraps. Nobody knew that he was going to be. This was the trailer during, I think, Celebration that they aired for the first time. And then he showed up on stage.
Yeah,
that was that.
Again.
That reaction, even though you don't see him, but you hear him so clearly and you weren't expecting it, that's what I'm talking about. And granted, you cannot have those moments every single time, especially when you do. I think they did 3 trailers for this?
Yeah, I was about to say, there's only so many things they can put into a movie.
Yeah, they can only surprise you once with this character coming back.
Yeah, right. So they had the big one at Celebration, then they had a small Sizzler trailer, then they had the one for Comic-Con.
Yes.
And now, which was this one, yeah. So then they had one that was in front of some of the trailer in front of the movies. That are playing in theaters.
I thought this was the third. I think
it is a third. I think it's the third one.
Yeah. So I mean, again, don't get me wrong. Star Wars is dead to me. This trailer sucks. I'm gonna start my own boycott Star Wars. I'm starting another YouTube channel. Screw you, fanboys. No, doesn't work like that. Like I said, you got your tickets. I can't get my tickets until my damn theater starts selling them, and they won't sell them probably for another 2 weeks. So I'm going to be there, and I'm going to relax. I'm going to soak it in, and we'll have hopefully one show to review it. Not what I had to do last time. 3 shows to well, here's how I feel. How does a crazy, psychotic fanboy feel? How does a 17-year-old boy feels, and let's compare all these feelings now and see where this thing lands. No, I'm hoping that this will generate just one review show.
The thing is, because there's a good benefit of reviewing something through the lens of other people who are varying degrees of Star Wars fans. Because sometimes we might see this as a slap in the face, if something screws up. But as someone like my sister who's more of a casual Star Wars fan, she might be like, oh yeah, it was good, it's fine, I enjoyed it. There's some spaceships. So it is good to get different perspectives of people who are in varying degrees of fandom.
No, but that's what happened to me last time with Last Jedi, because I ended up reviewing it 3 times with 3 different people. I got both ends of the spectrum. Yeah, I had me in the middle that didn't enjoy it. And then I had my son who was really into it. And then I had my friend who, he's kind of, borderline, toxic fandom material. So it's like, oh my God, I got so much here. And it's like, where am I in all this? So this, this is only 2 months away. Pretty soon we're going to start seeing, and I think by this time they smartened up and they're not putting out any books until the thing comes out. You're not going to see the making, not the making, but the behind the scenes and the visual dictionaries and the novel, which, hey, I saw something that it's already labeled expanded edition, and we talked about expanded edition novels already. I almost wanted to go look at how many pages it was, just so we can write it down somewhere. So we can start our theories.
If it inflates. No, but I think the novel is out in I think February again, somewhere around there. It's gonna be it's like a month or 2 afterward again.
They're gonna make you wait on that one.
Yeah.
But I already have on my Amazon wish list. I got all my Star Wars junk already there waiting for me. And it's like, oh, here we go again, man. And then even before this comes out, Mandalorian is only like a month, less than a month away.
Crazy! Oh, I cannot believe it.
And apparently the reviews are insane. Like people are going crazy over the people that I got to see it already. So it's like, oh my God, this thing is going to just explode.
Yeah, I already signed up for it. By the way, I signed up for Disney Plus already.
There you go.
So, yeah, I had to bite the bullet. I had to.
Well, one more thing that I wanted to mention, again, having to do with The Mandalorian, is the fact that we just got yet another trailer, because the show's about to start very, very soon, but they just threw another trailer at us, which I wasn't really expecting it. But what's interesting about this trailer is that I do notice that there's a lot of shots in it from that leaked original footage that we got to see initially when the first word of The Mandalorian, it might have been a Star Wars Celebration or something way, way, way back. And now we got more of that. So let's queue up our trailers just like we did with Rise of Skywalker. Let's queue up our trailer and let's go shot by shot. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. I'm going to play mine down. So we start off with a shot that we've seen before. We saw it way, 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 way before, which is the stormtrooper heads in pikes, as a warning, I guess. And you hear Werner Herzog saying, "Is the world any peaceful, after the revolution?" And his voice, man, I could just listen to him all day because he is such an evil-sounding, like conniving voice that he has.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I would love to have him as a narrator on a few really good audiobooks. He's a super famous director, and he's also a very famous documentarian, and he does narrate a lot of his films, and yeah, you can hear his voice is just, it takes over the movie when you watch sometimes some of his stuff, and I'm really happy they got him for this, so this is going to be really cool. So let me go forward a little more. So next you see two beams, I don't know if they're human or what, but we'll see in the next shot, riding these lizardly kind of creatures up on a cliff. And then we get, again, more of the narration of Herzog saying, "It's a shame your people suffer." So you're starting to get the idea now that he might be talking about the Mandalorian. The next shot is the Mandalorian, who is, I don't know, kind of like in the bottom of that cliff, let's say, looking around. Yeah, it's like he's like in a chasm or something.
And he's attacked by what appears to be, now based on an Entertainment Weekly article I saw a while back, and these shots seem to match Trandoshans, like Bosk kind of creatures. And I guess those are the two that were riding the creatures that we saw in the beginning of the trailer. And again, Herzog is saying, but bounty hunting is a complicated profession. And we get a shot of what appears to be carbon freezing a slate of somebody he just caught. Now, I can't tell by looking at the picture, again, if this is one of those two that attacked him or somebody else from a different scene, I don't know, but I do remember seeing this shot on one of the previous trailers. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do. And it looks like if you pause it, it looks like there's more than one carbon. There's a few of them in the back.
There's a whole bunch of them
all lined up. They're all lined up there. So you can tell there's going to be some sort of like transporting some sort of, bounties that they've gotten.
Right, that he's made a whole bunch of stops along the way, and this is like the latest one.
He's had a busy day, apparently.
Yeah. We get a shot of his ship, again, getting close to this lush kind of planet, and he looks like somebody's unloading from his ship one of these carbonite blocks.
I love this shot coming up with the stormtroopers turning as the door opens. Like they're just turning, looking so menacing. It's so
I know. And the narration says, "They said you were coming." It's very moody. It's very, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of the trailer for Conan the Barbarian, the original one. It's like, he's coming. He's about to arrive. They're prepping you for this main character.
It's so focused on like one person. So it's the buildup of just this one character.
Exactly. Then you do get this long shot of the ship, again, probably in the same location, some kind of a port. Very quick shots of him entering some kind of, I don't know if you can call it a cantina or some kind of meeting place with a lot of different creatures, and they all kind of, they're all eyeballing him as he walks in. And the narration says, "They said you were the best in the parsec, and wouldn't you agree?" And at that point, you do get a shot of Warren Herzog delivering those lines. And again, these shots, these indoor meeting shots with the stormtroopers and Herzog are part of that leaked original footage of the big job that he's there to do. I guess it's the episode 1 big job.
Yeah, kind of set the stage, set him up as a character.
Oh man. And yeah, he walks out of that room and he blasts a stormtrooper right in the face. He deflects the bolt from the side coming, and he's shooting in all these different directions. And then you get streaming November 12th. Now, here's something very interesting. You get a quick shot of a little girl kind of like holding her hand up. And it's, again, this is very, Man with No Name, Clint Eastwood, westerny, I'm here to see the locals and the locals need his help. They get that feeling.
Yes.
But what's really interesting is that you get a shot of the sky, and on the sky, amongst smoke, some kind of battle scene, a ship flies by, and the ship looks exactly like one of the separatist robotic ships from, I think, maybe Revenge of the Sith. It's those circular, robotic, unmanned drone kind of ships flying through the sky.
Yeah, very very interesting, and you can tell just from a few other key shots that it seems like that he's pulling from different time periods in Star Wars. So a few theories I heard going around were the fact that there could be some use of flashbacks where it could be where we get a few glimpses at like the Clone Wars time period.
Well, you said it, because the next shot that we see is what looks like maybe that same little girl picked up by maybe her parents. They're wearing these red shirts, and they're getting away from an area, and behind them you see super battle droids. So this could be a flashback of the Clone Wars in live action.
Yeah, to be honest, like I feel almost bad because that era of it has been so derided and picked over because Episode 2 isn't the most well looked upon movie. So I'm glad to see even Favreau as much as because he's a big Star Wars guy. So him still bringing in a lot of things that maybe not have landed as well when they first were announced, first came out. But it's good to see, him picking from different pieces and different time periods like that.
It's very, very smart to include all the fans from all the different, eras of Star Wars. Now, that shot with the battle droids that I'm looking at right now, I'm thinking, is it possible that this could be the backstory to that female lead, Gina, what is it,
Carino?
Carino? Could it be her as a child and how she became a bounty hunter from the conflict of the Clone Wars? That's a possibility. I'm just guessing.
The timeline sort of works out. I mean,
I'm just making stuff up. I don't know anything for sure.
At this point, we're all. I think everyone's going to be speculating.
Yeah. So I'm going for the next shot here. It says Visionary New Series, and you get the shot of him using his cable to hook this guy in the foot, a squid head looking guy. Again, we saw part of this shot before, and then he pulls him towards him, and the guy takes a shot at him, and he shoots back. Now, we don't see it here, but in the other trailer, or on the other leaked shot, I think he shoots the door, and the door cuts his head off or something.
Yeah, I think it cuts him in half or something. You don't see it, but it's heavily implied.
Yeah. So then we get another slate from the Star Wars universe, and then you get a shot of like this, like a gigantic hairy rhino-looking thing.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
And he's being dragged behind it. Very, very reminiscent of the Geonosian battle where Jango Fett gets hit by that rhinoceros-looking thing before he gets killed.
Yeah, good call.
I've seen this before. This looks very familiar. And then you get a shot of him with what looks like an Ugnaught putting his hand over his shoulder, and I think the Ugnaught is like his assistant during this series. He's like his companion, I think.
I can see him being more like a comic relief type character. Because I'm sure the Mandalorian's gonna be more straight laced, dry humor, while the Ugnaughts gonna be more of like that, funny.
He's like the mechanic. He's the fixer, that kind of thing. Then we get a shot of two characters on speeders in some desert planet. Not sure who they are. Then you get the traditional, it's the Western shot. Him with the sun went down, the sky is kind of purple and orange and yellow. It's a portrait shot, basically. Another shot of his ship flying while it's being bombarded, by blaster fire by, I imagine it must be maybe an Imperial or something. And then you get a shot of what looks like him meeting his next crew. And this is where you get Carl Weathers again from the original leak trailer. And there's 3 other characters back there that are part of this particular crew. Again, don't know if we're sure if these are ongoing characters that we'll see through the entire series, or this is just for this particular job that he's pulling.
Yes, that's a good question, because I'm not sure if they're gonna do maybe season by season have a sort of a loose group of characters dedicated for one season, and then next season is another job, so another crew.
Then you got a shot of him meeting, I keep forgetting her name, Gina Carrera,
I think.
Then you get, once again, the narration from Herzog saying, Mandalorian, look outside. And now we get some new shots of Giancarlo Esposito. He's definitely an Imperial. He's got Stormtrooper and all kinds of troops around him. And you get a nice, headshot of him. And you get, once again, the shot of the IG-80, I don't know, 6 or 4 or whatever, doing that spin, shooting everywhere type of action.
It's IG-11.
Yeah. I think they made a figure of him already.
Well, it's funny. If they make a figure of him, he's gonna look pretty much like an IG-88.
Oh, it's a super easy figure to make.
Yeah, they don't have a lot to change on that guy.
The narration says they're waiting for you, and then you see a shot of a woman kind of starting to touch his mask, as if she's about to remove his mask. Could be a girlfriend, a wife. I don't know. A flashback of some other earlier part of his life. Not sure. You get some more action shots of people shooting. Then you get a shot of a person we haven't seen yet, and I believe the actor's name is Bill Burr, who's a comedian who has a role in this. He's the bald guy shooting, and he's got like a gun over his shoulder, kind of like a Predator weapon. If you remember that over-the-shoulder thing that shoots independently of whatever he's shooting with his hands. Then you get a really cool shot that's, to me, it's a little reminiscent of Attack of the Clones, and that is the Mandalorian seems to be hanging by a cable off of a TIE fighter, because to me that looks like a TIE fighter. That looks like the cockpit of a TIE fighter, and I can see part of the wing. And the next shot is him, pulling himself towards the actual cockpit, and Esposito looking up through the window as he arrives at the top of the TIE fighter. Really, really cool stuff.
I love that ending shot of him just aiming the rifle.
So you get a couple of more quick shots of all this action stuff, and he's holding the rifle that has that tuning fork tip that from the holiday special that we knew was coming. And he's basically replying because he was saying, and he says, good, he's replying to Herzog. And then you get the slate of the show. Given the fact that we're only 2 weeks away, this is such a great little trailer. I'm still surprised they never formally released those leaked scenes that were originally out there, during the celebration presentation.
Yeah, first of all, I'm more surprised that we even got this second trailer, because we're so close up to the date. Yeah. I mean, this came as sort of a surprise to me. We got this so late in the game, because normally like with the episodic movie trailers, usually they give you the trailer, then it's like a cool off period while they let it simmer and everything. This is pretty close to the game, so.
Right. And we finally get to hear his voice for the first time. When he says good at the end, so we're going to get... I don't know if they're going to avoid the entire series trying to remove his mask. I don't know if that's a smart idea. I don't know if that's a bad idea. Because, why would you hire a certain actor if you're never going to show his face? Unless, obviously you're going to use his voice, but this kind of an actor, you got to maybe every now and then show his face. Every now and then.
I can see what a lot of people are saying in that, but it seems like you're thinking at it from like a outside, like a very meta point of view. Like if you're thinking of it as just like, and if you're thinking of it like in universe, I like the idea that this guy goes to great lengths to sort of keep himself masked and behind this like identity of the Mandalorian. So.
But that could also work similar to comic books where he has two personalities, or in other words, he's the Mandalorian when he's wearing the mask, but if he doesn't want to be noticed, he can just take off the mask and blend in anywhere because he's just another dude.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And that actually would open up a few doors for different story possibilities actually for him. Right. For him now trying to keep his separate lives identity separate.
Right, because you have to also imagine a little bit that yes, he's a bounty hunter, but at the same time, this is post-Clone Wars. The Mandalorians are pretty much wiped out, so he might not want to advertise too much that, hey, look, I'm the only Mandalorian, everybody. He might want to keep it on the down low a little bit.
If that was the case, I think he would, probably not wear the armor.
yeah, you're right. If it's that dangerous, yes. I mean, I'm sold. I'm all for this.
This is what honestly sold me for Disney Plus. Like I mentioned a bit ago that I already signed up. This was pretty much what got me, and I just love how the style and theme of it is so close to Rogue One, more so than
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, more so than the other trailers for like the episodic movies. They're more in the same vein of the newer Disney era, where it's more theatrical, more. Yeah. This seems so much more down to earth that
it's dirty, gritty.
Exactly. Which is
you get that original Tatooine kind of feel where everything is worn and
lived
dirty.
In, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is a probable premature home run as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, looking at it from the just the image that we get, it would take a lot for them to really screw this up. I mean, all the pieces are there. I mean, they even have like a lot of Easter eggs that are supposed to be, because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, who are pretty much spearheading this, are big Star Wars fans, and I think they will do it justice in the fact that they know how much is too much and how to scale it back and not lean too far into something. So I really am looking forward to this.
This could be the springboard that Filoni needs to be able to direct the film.
Yeah, I think so, and I think giving him this shot here, I think is what it would take, because I really enjoyed what he did with Clone Wars and especially Rebels. I think there were a lot of misses. I think in Rebels where some episodes didn't really land with me very well, but overall it was an amazing series. So seeing him now transfer to live action, and what we see here in this trailer is just really good.
Well, this could also spawn off, and it's probably already happening, a ton of toys. So let's talk a little bit about Triple Force Friday.
Oh, yes.
Did you have any success on Triple Force Friday?
The listeners aren't going to see this, but yeah.
Holy! Where's 94? Where's the Mandalorian?
No, I couldn't get the Mandalorian. I got like the Stormtrooper. I got
hold
Kylo.
On a second. I gotta show you something.
the listeners unfortunately aren't going to be able to see this, but I have lined up. I have all the Black Series I got.
You there?
It's so silly.
So I go to Target. I go to Walmart. I can't find anything anywhere. I go to one store. They don't put anything out. I go to the other store.
Yeah.
There's nothing left because everybody already picked through it. I wasn't able to go. First of all, my stores didn't do the midnight anything. Everything was in the morning. I wasn't able to go in the morning.
Yeah, no, my stores did the midnight.
I wasn't able to go in the morning because I had to work. So by the time I got there around noon, around lunchtime, everything was gone. But there was one Walmart store that I did go in the morning before going to work just to see if I got lucky. And it's like 7 in the morning. They would have already put stuff out. And the girl was, no, I don't think we're going to put out stuff till around 11 or 12. So I went back to that Walmart store and she's like, no, I just put out all the Frozen 2 stuff and the Star Wars stuff is still in the back. She's like, just hang out here. Let me go see if I can find, let me see if I can find.
Oh, you're lucky.
So
you got
this
an
is
inside
exactly,
man. Inside woman.
Yeah, I know. This is exactly what happened to me on Solo. But a different store. She goes to the back and about 10 minutes later comes back with a cart packed with boxes. So we're there trying to figure out what's what. And I didn't buy as much as you, but I'll show you. I said to her, I want a Mandalorian, and this is what I got.
Oh, I hate you so much.
Now there's
he's looking at he's showing the white box too of the Black Series.
He's taunting. He's like, Steve, where are you gonna buy me, Steve?
It's the one I didn't get. I got all 94. The ones I wanted except the Mandalorian. Okay,
and there's 3 boxes. There's the copper box, there's the red box,
really?
or the black box, and the white box. There's 3 different color boxes.
Wait. What's the third? I know there's the white and the black, but what's the third one? You said
it's like a copper. It's like a copper color box.
Oh,
it's like a carbon. It's a carbonite.
Is that limited to a specific store?
I think one is Target, one might be Walmart, and then there's a regular one. I think this is first edition. This is like I think the black one is the normal one. This is the white one is normal, like the second rare, but then that copper color one is like the other rare one. But I mean the figure from what I think the figure is exactly the same, or maybe they touch it up a little or something.
Gonna be the same. Yeah.
And then the other one I got was this guy because I thought he really looked cool.
Oh, okay,
the Knight of Ren.
Yeah, the Knight of Ren. Yep, in the classic card.
I am thinking because at that moment I could have gotten every single small figure because they had everything. And same thing.
If I could have exchanged places with you.
The other thing I was looking for that they didn't have, apparently the Hot Wheels, Star Wars Hot Wheels, they make a whole bunch of little ships, which they've made before.
Oh, yeah.
And there's apparently the Mandalorian ship is in one of those waves. But I couldn't find it anywhere. It's a small version of the Mandalorian ship. Now, granted, I'm sure they're going to come out with different sizes, maybe even the little model kits, the snap-tight models or something, because that ship is going to be huge. When the show starts, they're going to go insane with that ship.
Yep.
But I do have... I was able to score a Mandalorian. Some places you can kind of put yourself on an order. I think GameStop was having orders, sometimes Amazon. You just have to wait and you go through like the Facebook groups, and once you see somebody post, hey, everybody run to this, go to this website, boom, and you have to place your order because but I'm sure this character, they're going to make a million of them because people, this is going to be...
That's one of the things I think we mentioned this on one of our previous episodes where we're talking about like the state of collecting, where I even though I know I can probably find these guys online so easily, like I still like going to the store and like grabbing it off the shelves, like yes, I got it, and then marching up to the cashier, slamming it down.
And listen, I've been to Disney a couple of times since Force Friday to the Star Wars stores in Disney, and I just go and say, I look for 94, 90. No, they're all gone. At the Disney stores, they disappeared really fast. But yeah, they're going to have to reflood. They're going to reflood the market because everybody's going to want to get their hands on them.
I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. And I will keep our listeners in check. This if I do get a Mandalorian, I will.
Do you have there a Sith trooper?
Yeah,
the red one.
92.
Is he a jet trooper or just a Sith trooper?
No. This guy for the Black Series, they only made the regular trooper.
Okay.
But for the smaller, 3 3/4, they make the jet trooper.
That's the only other one I'm considering buying.
I honestly didn't like the look of him. The helmet looks weird. Like on the jet trooper, the helmet looks like. It looks a bit weird.
You know what it is?
I didn't really like it.
I kind of see it as a little bit of the continuation of the Praetorian Guards. I like that red, that super special,
red,
high-ranking, specially trained type of thing.
Like the elite SWAT guys.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I might pick that one up at some point. And the Bounty Hunter, the Kerry Russell's Bounty Hunter one, that's a pretty nice looking figure too.
I guess because I relate so much to Daft Punk. Like it looks it really looks like I'm like a big Daft Punk fan.
Yeah. But that's like I said, that's all that's as far as I went. I didn't pick up any Legos. I know there were some Legos for the movie.
I got some Legos too.
And for Mandalorian.
I got the Y-Wing. The
Y-Wing. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. I mean, believe me, I like it when I don't have to go. I don't have to do what you just did. I don't want to come home with 7 or 8 boxes. No, I can't. I can't do that. But when I get your age and I have too much crap, then I will probably be in the same position as you. But I'm happy with what I got, and between now and then, I know there's second waves, and there's more waves coming of all this stuff. So But I'm sure they're waiting for Christmas now at this point to release the next set of figures and that sort of thing. But anyway, we've gone really deep on this one. And I would like to wait until the movie comes out to hit this again, but who knows? Between now and then, once the Mandalorian hit, I'm gonna have to talk about that because the hype.
That might be a bit too big to just let go. Maybe we can do like a half episode on like the Mandalorian. The other half would be
I know what's gonna happen. My son is gonna want to watch. He's gonna probably watch the whole thing in one day, and I'm the type of person that wants to make it last a month. I want to watch.
Well, they're doing it week by week.
It's not good.
Yeah. They say the first 2 episodes are going to come out, and then the rest of it is going to be week to week.
Good, like Star Trek, then. That's good.
Yeah, because it gives you something to talk about. I don't want to just because then I have to spend the whole day just watching it. I like it. We can talk about it. For a while, chew on it, rewatch it. Rewatch a few parts.
Oh man, well this has been great. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Carl. Thanks, everyone, for having me. This was a really fun one. Big deep dive here.
Next time will be Mandalorian when we get together for Star Wars related stuff. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. As we get closer and closer to this Mandalorian premiere, a whole bunch of spots 30-second, 1-minute spots, more or less, have started premiering. There's at least a total of about 8 of them, I think, now floating around. Some of the major new little tidbits that have popped up in these spots is a shot of Ming-Na Wen from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She has a role in it. I assume talking to the Mandalorian, saying, "Your name will be legendary." Shots of biker scouts on bikes. Like, oh my God, and they look so damn cool. And you get to hear the Ugnaught talking, and it is Nick Nolte. We knew he had a role in it. It's a voice role. He has the voice, I believe, of that Ugnaught that's supposed to be helping him. And it's like, it is just, man, talk about hype. I am so much more hyped about this than the Rise of Skywalker, unfortunately. But you know what? I'll take everything. I'll take it all. And we will see, hopefully in about a week or so, where we are with this, because man, does this look like it's going to be just absolutely fantastic. So I would like to thank once again Steve for joining us today, and all of you who listen, and we will see you soon here at GeekFest Rants. Bye-bye, everybody.
Is the world more peaceful since the revolution? It is a shame that your people suffered. But bounty hunting is a complicated profession. They said you were coming. They said you were the best in the parsec. Would you agree? Mandalorian, look outside. They are waiting for you. Yeah? Good.
If you would like to subscribe to our show, send us messages, or see video links to some of the topics we talked about today, please visit our homepage at geekfestrants.com or our YouTube channel, Facebook page, or iTunes at GeekFest Rants.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
GeekFest Rants is produced by Carlos Perón, copyright 2019.
This broadcast is part of the IC Robots Radio Network. Visit icrobots.com for this and many other nerd/nostalgia related podcasts. You won't be sorry for long.